Okay, nope. I followed because I'm interested in shogi but haven't had a chance to watch it. Okay, good, good. Yeah, well, this one's going to be kind of interesting because usually what I do is start out with tsumeshogi problems. If you if you're not familiar with what that is, it's checkmating problems where each move is done with a check. It's a really good way to, especially for people to start out, because you end up getting very familiar with how the pieces work and interact with each other. You learn things like you know, yeah, yeah, it is kind of like sumego. Yeah, um, how the pieces coordinate with each other. Light moves, nice tactical shots. Something about sabaki, yeah, and your calculation improves too. So a lot of different reasons why it's very good to start out by studying tsumeshogi, because it ends up carrying over to other parts of your game too. Shogi, just like Go, or chess, there's a lot of calculation involved, and probably more so than Go or chess. So it's vital to improve your calculation skills. And just a little practice will go a long way, as long as the practice is habitual. Are you a Go player? By your name you might be, since it's black-white. But of course that could be chess too, or shogi. Interesting about these games, because some of what you learn, even if you're not like a chess type player and you're coming in from Go, it still involves calculation. So some of it, if you're able to visualize the board and see tactics and Go, some of that will carry over. It might seem a little strange at first, because the pieces are actually moving around rather than just staying on the board until they're removed by capture. But other than that, if you can actually visualize the board, some of it, you might be able to uh, pick things up more quickly than someone who just hasn't played any type of these board games before. Oh, you mean Kaga? So we start out today with this tsumeshogi problem. Someone posted this one earlier today in the Discord server. Otherwise Toto will get upset and bite you or something. I don't know who the author of this problem was, but it seems that this thing was from Tsumepara. It's a tsumeshogi publication. So you see, if we check the king by dropping the knight here, if the gold takes, they'll be mate here. So the king will have to run up the board, and then there's no way to stop the king from getting to 3-5. If you check this way, then if the lance takes, then they'll be mate with 2-3 gold. But he doesn't need to capture. Also, if takes here, then gold drop mate. But yeah, he doesn't need to get to capture. He can just run up here. And you notice that this bishop defends this 1-3 square. So 1-3 horse isn't possible. So when we look at this bishop and lance, and we see those variations that I just showed, we can see that this 2-2 square is sort of a, they call focal point. And oftentimes what you want to do is sacrifice something on the focal point just to screw up the coordination. So lance defends this way, bishop defends this way. So the lance is stopping you from dropping a gold here and mating. And the bishop is stopping you from mating on 1-3. So how do we put those ideas together? So the piece at the focal point, since this is a tsumeshogi problem, it has to be with check. So we can't drop a gold here. And dropping a knight would be illegal. So if we drop a silver, this is with check. And the silver has to be captured because if it's left there, you notice that now it blocks the bishop. So if he runs here, they'll be mate that way. Bishop, silver is blocking the bishop. If the bishop takes it, then there's mate here since the lance is blocked. So only lance takes. Okay, now we drop the knight on 2-5. Okay, again, if the gold takes, there's mate here. If the lance takes, notice that because the lance can't go backwards, this 2-3 square is now open to drop. If king goes here, they'll be mate like that. But you notice that this is a koma amari situation. Koma amari is where there's a piece remaining in hand. See, in this situation, it's also 5 moves, but nothing in hand. So this would be considered the correct solution. But of course, you have to find both. Okay, so let's look at that again. To silver, lance takes, knight here, and then mate. Okay, and let's move on to something else. Yes, you're right. The world is turned on its head. This is nogare shogi. Okay, bye Toto. You have to go. Toto has to go bye-bye. Kind of like a reverse shogi or escape shogi. What we're trying to do is play the other side of the mating problem. So instead of trying to checkmate the opponent's king like regular tsumeshogi, we're playing the defending side and we're trying to escape from mate. So as long as we can defend against an immediate tsume, then we're good. Yeah, we win. Welcome to everyone who just joined the stream. Right now we're doing nogare shogi, which is escape shogi. So perhaps I shouldn't have started out with this one because it is a bit tricky. Run to 3-8 with the king. Let's see what happens. Okay, so now if he drops the gold to 4-8 or 2-8, the king's just going to run and there's no way to continue. You can either block or run. Also this way, he goes here. Yeah, no way to continue. The king's gonna run up here. Okay. So also threatens to take this silver, but that's not the end of this. He's gonna drop here. So now if the king goes anywhere to the back rank, he's gonna get mated by Atama king. So that means he has to take with the silver. And then the knight takes. And again, if the king goes anywhere to the back rank, there's Atama king mate. So king takes. And then now what would white play? Be this area. Just to run to. So white will have to block that off. If he does something like this, then the king will run up. Gold here and then down. So there's just too much space. Silver here. Then king's just going to go up. If silver here, then king can. He's not going to go to 3-5 because of 3-4 gold. He can just run here. Check, and then king goes there. Or he can run this way. So in order to block him, he has to drop the silver here. And now the silver also stops the king from running. Stops the king from going here. So after this, then this way is blocked too, and you can mate. So if we run to 3-8, we get mated. So we have to do something else. If we interpose on 3-6, then it stops the king. And see, knight. Whoops. Knight's defending here. Silver's defending there, and gold's defending there. So mate. Okay. So that leaves some type of move on 4-5. If we use the silver, then mate like this. You defend by drawing the bishop in. In this case, it's also a matter of dropping where your opponent wants to drop. So the correct answer is to drop a pawn here. So you notice in that variation where the king escaped to 3-8, at the end of it, there was a gold drop on 4-5. So by drawing the bishop in, you also occupy that square. And now, if the gold dropped here on 2-8, king is going to run up. So bishop takes pawn. Okay, if silver takes, then mate here. So now the only move is to run to 3-8. Okay, and this time when you drop pawn here, takes. If 3-6 gold, king will escape to 3-8. There's not enough to mate. If silver 4-8 dropped, this time the king can run up. And now the bishop is occupying the dropping square. So there's no mate here. Okay. Let's go on to the next one. I didn't reveal the answer. Yay! I'm doing fine. Been practicing shogi problems and now chess looks so much easier. Got 100 points in one day. Wow. I miss those days. What about you? Yeah, not doing too bad. Even my chess not so bad. Yeah, I managed to get back to 2100 in the 5-minute pool. You might be familiar with the ICC 5-minute pool. It's way less inflated than ICC. So if you're, yeah, but it's 2100 in the 5-minute pool. So if you have a regular blitz rating, it's usually like a couple hundred points higher than like in the 5-minute pool, because in that one you're getting paired randomly, so you can't play the same person over and over again. And if you have their number or something, yeah, yeah. So I haven't, I've been kind of getting back into it. In the last 20 games that I played in that pool, there were four titled players, ranging from NM to IM to FM and GM, and I won those 4 games, so I was very pleased with myself. Yeah, yeah. I remember in the early days of internet chess, there used to be a site called Fix. I think it's still around. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's still around, or it's called Fix or ICS. So that was one of the first. Yeah, Fix. Yeah, it was one of the first internet chess servers, and it was a precursor to ICC. But I remember I was in college, and prior to, and this Fix had just come out, and prior to this I was having trouble finding opponents. To do that, I would have to go down to an actual club and play in person. But now I could just play anytime, and it was just amazing. I mean, nowadays it sounds kind of silly to to think about things like that. But yeah, back then it was a real concern, just finding opponents. And then also, like the level of competition, you could find some very strong players. There was I was playing Blitz against an IM, and for the first time I ended up drawing, and I remember being so happy about that, because we're in a rook pawn endgame, and I was down a pawn, so the position was worse, and then I sacrificed another pawn. If I remember correctly, it was a rook endgame, but each side had 2 rooks. So I just sacrificed another pawn, so I was down 2 pawns, but I had so much activity that I was able to hold a draw. So I was really happy about that. But yeah, it usually, sometimes after getting that first win against a stronger opponent, then it's almost like after that line has been crossed, it's easier to get, I guess, get wins after that. I don't know, it might just be one of those mental block kind of things. You are also strong, and I barely just started. My goal for now would be to reach 1000. Yeah, Evil Rookie, you're in a really a good place, because none of us, the people who have played before, we're never going to be beginners again. So you get to experience everything for the first time, and that's, it's an amazing thing. So you're in a good place, because if you study, you're going to start. If you study and play a lot, you're going to start to improve, and your improvement, it won't be unheard of if you start it starts going by hundreds of points. But for people who have been playing for a while, the improvements aren't going to be so great. It's going to be very, as we get stronger, the jumps in strength are a lot. It's not really jumps or even steps. It's just, even shuffling would be nice. It's very incremental, and sometimes if you don't notice small things, it might look like you're just stuck in one place. So enjoy it. Enjoy it. Mild One says, I went like 0 and 20 against IM's GMs before I got any wins. Only 20? Wow, that's still pretty good. This puzzle is very short, right? Yeah, it's a short puzzle. Well, I was like 1900 ICC when I started pairing against them, yeah. Okay, so my 5-minute rating was, at the best, it was 2276. But that was January 18th, 2011, so 8 years ago. Wow, 76. I almost don't, I mean, it's such a long time ago, I almost don't remember it. I don't know if I'll ever get past 2200 again. You sound, I think you're probably a lot younger than me, so yeah, enjoy that while you can. Yeah, so you guys both are in very good places. It's funny because the other day, Hikaru was saying about how he was. You're 24. Oh, you're still a baby. Jeez. uh, yeah. During Hikaru's stream, he was telling people about how old he was. I guess because some of the viewers were a lot younger, and he was describing like the computer stuff, and I was thinking, oh, you bastard. What, you're saying that's old? I remember when we had computers with monochrome screens, and then you there was no disk drives, so you had to plug in a cassette recorder and then play it in order to like save and save and load things, and it would take such a long time. It's like real crazy. Or like learning to type on one of those manual typewriters. Yeah. Yeah, we definitely have a generational gap here. A lot has changed, and it seems that the changes happen each year, happen quicker and quicker. It's really amazing. Well, let me yeah, get back from that trip on memory lane. So we have two ways of running. One is 2-1 and also 4-1. So if he runs, well, let me pass a move first. If he runs here, do you see what the next move is? I think Mild One already found it. So if Evil Rookie sees it, yeah, you can. Do you see it, Evil Rookie? The other side is nothing in hand, so he's gonna promote the bishop here. Now, if the king runs here, then mate like that. And if the king takes, there's mate this way. So that means that the king has to run to 4-1. Now, there's two ways for him to continue. If he promotes here, the king mustn't take because of this mate. Also, he mustn't run this way because, you know, we have that same mate to what we looked at before. Gold takes. And now there's no way to continue the checks. If he promotes here, the gold just takes. We also have to look at this 3-1 bishop promote. If the king takes, then we have that promotion variation, and then the token runs this way. So the king runs here. And now he can escape up the board. One last try. 4-1 horse. If takes, then mate here. So he just runs up this way. Okay. Yeah, these problems are from Nogare Shogi by Mori Nobuo. He's a professional player and a very good endgame composer. He was the teacher of a very famous player named Murayama Satoshi. Yeah, Murayama was a very talented player, and unfortunately he passed away when he was very young. I think he was only like like about 28 or 29 when he died. But he had lifelong kidney ailments. So even when he was a little kid, he was in the hospital. That's where he started shogi. Had he lived, he almost definitely would have been a title holder. He's also one of the best endgame players of his generation. Yeah, this guy, this is Murayama Satoshi. Yeah, 29 years old. Yeah, very sad. He's one of the big what-ifs in shogi. So a very similar position to before. Just a little bit has changed. Notice that the rook is where the gold used to be. So just small details in the position change. So there's one square wins, one square loses. Okay, so have you guys figured out the answer? Okay. Yes. So he can run to 2-1 or 4-1. See, if we wait, did that make sense? Okay, good. Let's look at one more. Yeah, what kind books? Okay. You can find so that they have all sorts of stuff there. Selection is far greater than, you know, like Neko model. Pasting into Google Translate though, yeah, that's the only thing. But what's really nice about the MyNavi PDFs, this is one of the MyNavi books. It's on side pawn opening. But I wanted to show you something really neat. You see, if you notice when I put my cursor over these over the words, it has that text thing. So that means I can do this, highlight it, and then copy and paste it into the Google Translate if I need to, or a dictionary. So let's say I don't know this word, and then I can copy it and then paste it in like jisho.org or something, and then come up with a definition. So that's one of the nice things about the MyNavi ones. Blocked out something that you said. Did you use a bad word? Good. Oh, you posted a link. Yeah, it deletes it. Um, yeah, if you happen to have like live in Japan, you could also look at the Amazon JP site, and they also have a lot of books in Kindle format. But the thing about that is you aren't able to highlight stuff like this and then copy and paste. So that's yeah, that's downside to it. Let's see if I can find something just to show you. Well, actually, why don't we solve that? Hey, let me close this thing out first, and then we'll solve this one, and then I can maybe show you a title or something you might be interested in getting. You know, so while you guys are figuring this out, I'll look through my stuff to see if I can find something that might interest you. You know, there's some that are problem books out of a certain opening. So it would be opening and like early middle game. So there's that. But was that what you're looking for too, mild one? Or nothing in particular? Yeah, I'd be interested in those. Okay. What opening? I saw a video on YouTube which mentioned a book about Anaguma defense tactics. Okay, let me check. I have one on Anaguma Tetsuji. Maybe you might. Yeah, did you guys figure out the answer? I'd like to build a repertoire to play static rook versus fourth file rook with a view to playing Anaguma where possible, but some lines my opponent insists on Fuji's system. Yeah, you might need two separate books if you want to do that. One I can show you a little later, so you know like where to start looking. Um, so did you guys figure out the problem? Okay, yeah, give me your answer. Yeah, for Fuji's system, it's kind of fallen out of favor uh, due to this a line that I'll show you. 1 king 2 3 bishop. Yeah, okay, good. All right. So I'll show you a line where he gets mated. If he interposes on 3-2, there's going to be a mate this way. So you also look at the king running up, and after that, if there's this check here, king can run here and he escapes. So there's bishop promote. If 1-1 king, 2-3 knight, and if 1-3 king, then you notice the silver, we do a clearance sacrifice like this, rook takes and then knight mate. So that means we have to run in the corner. And then the only way to continue the checks, aside from bishop promoting here, is to drop the knight. And now there's no knight in hand, so no mate. Also the knight's blocking the horse. So the king escapes. Check like this, you just block it. Okay. Did that make sense to you guys? So I'll close that, and then see. And maybe he might do like this and try to push on the edge. So you're familiar with this one, right, mild one? Yeah, okay. So after he pushes on the edge like this, one line that has kind of been giving the fourth file rook side trouble is this 3-6 pawn. So you give up the idea of playing the anaguma and then in favor of a Q-sen. So after you play 3-6 pawn, he's going to have to move the king here. And then the silver, you look at different varying shikakes on 3-5. Excuse me, 7-5. So you need to know something about this system. So you're playing a Q-sen with the pawn up here, and a lot of these lines end up better for the E-Bisha side. So nowadays you don't see Fuji's system as much. What they've been doing is going into just regular Mino lines nowadays. But even that, you know, a lot of times Ibisha has been getting some, you know, pretty good positions too. Yeah, so you'd find 2 books for that. I don't know if I know any offhand though. Let me just see if I... because the Q-sen lines ended up being really promising for Ibisha, what they tried to do was usually they do this as let me flip the board. They would end up playing like this bishop exchange fourth file rook. So for a while this was also very popular, but and some people still play it, but it's not popular like it was you know, like a few or several years ago. Yeah, nowadays Huribisha is getting I don't want to say clobbered, but it's getting harder and harder to play. Alright. As long as you're not playing professional players, it's probably going to be okay. I mean, if you're a ranging rook player. Anyway, let me show. Okay, the Q-sen, yeah, work out better than normal in this case because fourth file rook spent 2 moves on the edge pawn. Yes, that's one of the reasons. If let me flip this guy. Um, usually when I mean before, when they used to do this, you know, it would take a lot of time to castle the king, so that would give black the chance to attack using the knight. Kind of made sense because he's using time to set up the attack, and then you're using time to set up the anaguma, and then so it would make sense to do that. But if he can attack a lot quicker, then the king is in the center. He's not going to spend time making his king a target. Yeah, and they used to do all sorts of different things, like you know, like this. This is also like a try. Sometimes even in conjunction with 3-6 pawn and 4-6 silver. Really interesting stuff. But yeah, that is a reason. Okay, yeah, let me show you those 2 Anaguma books to see if it's something that you might be looking for. So this one says Ohira Anaguma Sen no Zettai Tetsuji 105. So what it roughly translates to is 105 Tetsuji that you definitely need to know when you're fighting Anaguma. And I think yeah, you're fighting with Anaguma. So see down here it says Anaguma no Seme, so that's Anaguma attack, and Anaguma no Uke, so Anaguma defense. Is this thing showing? Yeah. This is lagging a little bit. Okay, so in the table of contents, it has yeah, I guess it talks kind of generally about Anaguma. And then in the first chapter, it looks like 30 attacking Tetsuji for Anaguma. And then next chapter it says Anaguma Sen Mamori no Tetsuji 20, so 20 defensive Tetsuji. And then this one is 15 edge Tetsuji. And then the next one is 10 Tetsuji for the opening stage. And then the next one is 20 next move problems. And the next one is 10 next move problems from actual games. And then there's 4 columns. 3 of them are by professional players. So it's Kiritani and Ima Izumi. And this last one is by someone from Nogizaka, apparently. I think Nogizaka, isn't that like that singing group, that girl band or something? I don't know. Nogizaka 46. That's not the. Is that the one that Ito Karin is in? Yeah, that is. So yeah, I don't know. I kind of can't stand that kind of stuff. Like these girl bands. Sort of, I don't know. It's kind of silly. I think you're better off. Yeah, that's Ito Karin. Yeah, cute girl. Is a co-host for NHK Shogi Koza. There's a shogi program on the weekends, and I guess she has, yeah, she's a very famous co-host for that. Well, anyone who can help me with shogi is welcome to do so. Yeah. Well, she's actually a shodan player, so she's pretty decent player. I don't know who in Nogizaka this thing is though. Let me just check. I don't know if does it even have a name. These ones are by professional players. No, I don't even know where the thing is. 158. So it's around the 9-7 point attack and defense. And then they explain I guess the general thing about the position in this section, and then a little bit about the variation in here. So it says firstly, taking with the silver, you exchange silver for knight, and then you end up with a material loss. Okay, and if we go on, so next they look at knight captures. Oh yeah, I don't have a board. So if pretend this lance is back here. Knight takes, lance takes on 9-6. Oh wait, right. Sorry. That girl is Ito Karin. So pretend this lance is down on 9-8. So knight takes, lance takes on 9-6, knight takes on 8-5, lance takes on 9-8 promote, king takes, and then pawn takes knight. So it says that that kind of situation can happen a lot. And finally, they look at this position where the lance captures. It says this is the most natural way of playing. After the knight takes, silver takes, lance drop on 9-2, and then, okay, it says go to the next problem. So we end up here. So it says the difference between the lance, the knight coming out in the other position. So lance drop here, and then, so next, sorry, I keep moving this thing back and forth. Let me make this thing smaller. Okay, so if black doesn't do anything, next he's going to take on 9-6. Silver takes, lance takes, check, 9-7 pawn. Silver takes the pawn, knight takes, and then 9-6 pawn. So we end up in this position. So in the diagram, the question diagram, they look at 8-8 knight, just to defend against lance taking on 9-6. And it says this is one of the ways of playing, but if later on white gets a knight in hand, he's going to drop it on 8-5. And it's going to be difficult to continue defending. Okay, another way is 8-8 king. 8-8 king, lance 9-6, and then next take on 9-7. Yeah, okay. So it said the correct way of defending is to move the gold up. And you also bolster the defense of 9-7. And then it continues on, and then on to the next one. So at this position. So he piles up, and then so on. Okay. Yeah, and just looking at these positions, they look like typical positions that could occur in a game. So that's also very useful. There's some problem books that are, I don't know, I guess you look for brilliant moves. So sometimes the position, it might not come up very often, but these look very typical, so very useful. And for some of these MyNavi books, especially the more recent ones, sometimes they'll also include KIF files. So you don't have to so when you're using your Shogi GUI or Shogi Dokoro, you won't have to set up the position yourself. You can just open the KIF files. The only I guess problem I have with that one is that the kanji doesn't show up on the KIF file names. It comes up all this gibberish stuff, so I don't know what's what. So that kind of limits the usefulness of that. You have to kind of like look through it. That's the only downside to it. Okay, so there's that one by Ohira, and then there's this this other one. It's by Ishida Naoya, also a professional player. Anaguma Gakoi o Kiwameru 77 no Tetsuji. So I guess they're finding or looking for 77 Tetsuji. Okay, and on the bottom it says from the edge, from the side, from the front. And it's like a Anaguma Castle dictionary. Yeah, this is attack and Kobo no Ite, or excuse me, Kobo no Tetsuji. Yeah, Kanzen. And this says something that I can't read. But it says one move difference in the end game. You set up positions, one move difference in the end game. Okay, let's see. So in the table of contents, basic Anaguma. This is when they make the castle. Anaguma basics. Gold, silver, 2 pieces gold, silver Anaguma. The gold on 7-8, the shape with gold on 7-8. Matsuo style Anaguma. Ginkan style Anaguma. 4-piece Anaguma. 4th file rook against Ibisha Anaguma. 3rd file rook double Anaguma. Gokigen Nakabisha double Anaguma. 4th file rook double Anaguma. And the second chapter is on edge attacks. Okay. And 3rd chapter is on attacks from the side. 4th chapter is attacks from the front. 5th chapter is basics of the endgame. 6th chapter is methods of defense from actual games. And then the last 5 things over here are columns. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's about different topics. One of them, it looks like about movies. So I don't know how much this thing has to do with shogi. This 3rd one is about shogi class. And the 2nd one is about Shoshi's, I guess, school. And this one, I'm not sure about this first one. Okay. So in this one, they're discussing I guess the differences between Mino, Yagura, and I guess later on in comparison to Anaguma. So it says the merits of the Mino are that I guess the king is far from checks. There's potential for the castle to, I guess, keep on developing. So you could go into, like High Mino or Ginkan. And it says the cohesion of the generals is good. And they compare it to this Yagura. So next he's going to take on 7-8 and disrupt the shape. Sounds like a war manual, yeah. And then it goes on to the demerits. It's the demerits of Anaguma. So in order to complete the castle, it's going to take many moves. And once a king is in the castle, it's going to be difficult for him to run out of it. And it's just something here that, unfortunately, I don't know the meaning to. But anyway, you get the idea. And then it shows typical weaknesses of Anaguma. Things to look out for, developments to look out for. Okay. And I guess these look like typical opening situations. But let's see what they have for, oh, Gokigen Nakabisha. So all sorts of Furibisha openings. What else? Edge attacks. So this one, it doesn't look like it's a next move problem book. It's just a Tetsuji book with explanations. Yeah, these look like very typical situations. So very practical. Yeah, they don't have okay, and I guess this chapter is on endgame situations, or early, late middle game, early endgame situations. And I think this one is on defense. Oh, I guess this one is in the end, the ending section. There are next move problems. This is from actual games. And then I guess they have the hint over here. Yeah, okay. So that's for Anaguma. Where did you get this stuff from? I purchased this on the MyNavi site. Let me give you a link to that. Yeah, you can purchase books in PDF or in print. So Mylon is asking about certain books on the Discord server. So this is a good way to go if you don't want to pay for shipping. Books on things like edge attacks or sabaki, gyakuten technique, attack and defense on the edge, ways to break down castles. Yeah, all sorts of books. Yeah, let me look at this next move problem thing. Let me close that. So this one is, if you want to just get a general next move problem book, there's one. Yes, I can understand that roughly. I can't understand everything, but I can read enough that I can understand what's going on. And what's really nice about the MyNavi editions, I was saying before, you can actually copy text and paste it into a dictionary if you can't read certain things. You know. Yeah, there's tons of stuff on Fourth Fire Rock, so you'll find a lot there. This book is Two Dawn Course um, problem collection. It doesn't say who the author is. But yeah, this series goes from 2 to 5 Dawn. So this is the 2 Dawn book, and then this is the 3 Dawn book, and then so on and so on. Is this aimed at 2 Dawns or for people trying to attain 2 Dawn? I think it's for people who are around 2 Dawn. But the thing that you have to take into account is this 2 Dawn here, it's probably like a 2 Dawn in like a Japanese dojo, like in Sendagaya. And the ranks on 81 dojo are a bit inflated. So sometimes like a 2 Dawn player might be like on in an actual dojo might be maybe like a 3 or 4 Dawn on 81 dojo. So you have to take that into consideration too. Also, if you go to a really strong dojo like Shinjuku, then this 2 Dawn, this might be appropriate for 1 Dawn in that dojo. Yeah. Yeah, 5 Dawn on 81 dojo and 2 Dawn on Shogi Wars. Wow, I didn't expect that to be that much of a difference. But on the other hand, it is Blitz, right? So that's probably has a bit to do with it. I'm imagining. Yeah, I found that the ranks on Shogi Wars are generally a lot closer if you compare it to like Japanese, like an actual dojo. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, this looks like kind of typical situations. Some of them, I think if you go to the harder problems, it's not going to be typical. They're going to be kind of like trickier moves. And it looks like it's in all sorts of positions and all sorts of phases of the game. So you get a nice mix of everything. See, this is like an endgame situation. Uh, this one asks for Tetsuji. Yeah. Yeah, all sorts of stuff. And then this, that was a 2 Dawn one, and then this 3 Dawn. Yeah, I guess it's going to be harder. And they usually put I thought they put the strength on the bottom, but they don't. I mean, the difficulty level on the bottom, but some of the problem books they do that. Here it doesn't look like they do it. Oh, we have an Anaguma thing here. So yeah, you might be interested in this one. The English shogi books are so weak though. Yeah, there's definitely a gap in what in English literature. So very, very difficult. Here's one by Habu. This is about quick attacks. Next move, basic. This is like basic next move collection. Very fast attacks. And I guess this one is multiple choice. And then after, it says Seikai Ritsu, the correct percentage for people who are trying to solve this is at 93. I don't know if these problems might have been actually published before in a magazine and they just collect it together. So that's how they know the correct answer percentage. So I guess you can kind of it's an indicator of how difficult the problem is. And then afterwards, you can tally up your score and then it'll give you a general idea of what your strength is. Yeah, multiple choice. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, I'm gonna end the stream pretty soon. But I hope that kind of helped, mild one. Probably later on in the future, what I want to do is videos on book reviews. I don't think that there's a whole lot of that. But so thank you for everyone who joined me today and participated in chat. Made it a lot more fun. If you enjoyed this and wish to support the stream, please consider clicking on the Streamlabs link in the description and support it with donations. Donations are not necessary but are always welcome. And you know, one of the things it helps me do is buy literature, and in turn that helps my viewers too. So please consider doing that. Anyway, thank you for joining me, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Bye.